Prosperity of your venture into Africa is our goal. We are committed to the success of every business in Africa. Africa Business Radio, towards a profitable Africa.
Welcome to HR Chat right here on the show HR Wire on Africa Business Radio. Yes, it is a segment for HR Chat where we talk about topical issues within the human resources industry, of course, across Africa. And this morning we're talking about how to deal with questionable employee comment on social media. We're going to be looking from the perspective of the employer and also from employee, because some of the opinion that my social media account is my personal life, is my private life. Whatever comment I make, whatever post I put up there should be just me. But we have seen cases of employees actually posting on their personal social media account, and they get into trouble for that. So to help us unpack this, we have Grant on the line. Grant Wilkinson. Grant is the executive at the Global Business Solution. Good morning, Grant.
Morning, how are you guys doing?
We're doing good. Thank you for joining us. Please tell us what you do and what your organization is into.
Oh, what I do? Look, I'm an attorney by trade. I'm part of the business called Global Business Solutions. I'm part of their national executive team as well. We specialize in labor law and human resources. We consult and we train as well, and we see ourselves as a cradle-to-grave answer, from chairing hearings, dealing with workplace grievances, all the way through to representing in the various court systems.
Okay. Talking about workplace grievances, the issue of employee social media comment and social media posts has been something that has become topical over the past 1 or 2 years. What are some of the trends that you've seen?
Well, I think, people are using social media to provide commentary on issues a lot more regularly than what has been done in the past. In that political opinion, there's been a lot of discussion, particularly in South Africa. The discussion no doubt revolves around topics such as race, religion, etc. as well. And some of the topics sort of espoused on, or discussions espoused on social media, border on racism itself, and comment which no doubt, if one can trace you back to your employer, can bring the employer into disrepute. One has to be very careful when it comes to posting on social media, because you are, even in your own time, recognized as an employee of the employer. Particularly in the employer, the higher up the tree you go, the more relevant your post, not relevance, but more closely a link is formed between yourself and your organization. And it is seen organizational view often rather than the individual's view.
I think the conversation is around bringing the employer into disrepute. And of course, I think for the employer, it's about the bottom, it's about the brand perceptions, it's about what their customers actually sees about the brand and their organization. So some might be of the opinion that the employers are trying to be selfish with regards to that, because as much as employees also, they're very much entitled to their own opinion about different things, and also their personal life, their private life should actually be made private, not so much bring into conversation when it comes to the bottom line of their employees. What do you say about that? Of their employers, rather. What do you say about that?
Well, I think no doubt there is a situation where there is a right to privacy and one does have a private life. However, the moment you put it out into the space, as I said, you are seen as an extension of the organization as well. So, for instance, if I had to put it out, guys who know me know I'm connected to X institution, Y institution, even though it might be in my own capacity. So then it would be seen, particularly, look, we're not talking about general commentary and stuff like that. Here we're talking about commentary that could bring the company to disrepute. Which it's almost deemed to be a sort of off-duty misconduct, if one could draw a parallel to that, where even if we were sitting at a football match and my team loses, I ended up causing chaos at a stadium. If I'm caught on national television and people go, oh, that's that guy from... There's a link between yourself and the business. Even though it's your own time, the action can be taken against. Yeah, I'm sorry, yeah?
Okay. All right. So let's just look at it this way. So as a media platform, as a journalist, we've had cases where you're speaking to somebody, you're trying to get their opinion about some issues, and probably some national or continental issues, and they will say, I will be speaking in my own capacity, not representing any organization. Is that what we're talking about here? To say that you do not attach yourself to the organization, but you can speak in your own either professional capacity or just personal point of view.
Yeah, a lot of guys do that, and it's unfortunately not a cover-all. It does provide the perspective, though, that it is the individual speaking and it's not on behalf of the organization. So a lot of times, particularly in sort of high publicity stuff, at exceptionally high level, perhaps state institutions, etc., you do get individuals who say that in the media. It's something that, no doubt, if you are going to make a personal opinion statement on the radio or TV, it is something that, no doubt, is good to show the separation. Is that potentially enough to say that you've separated yourself and there's no link to it and you can't take action? I think there could be arguments still either way on it, but it is good. Are going to make the type of statement that you do separate yourself from it, yeah.
All right. I understand that you need to go. Before I allow you to go, what would you advise employers to do, and also employees? So advice for employers and advice for employees when the issue of bringing an organization into disrepute and also maintaining my personal life on my social media pages as an employee.
Yeah, look, I think as an employee, I think it's being reasonable and rational. There's an old saying that goes, don't talk about sex, politics, and religion in decent conversation or polite conversation. And I think conversation has become so extended. The world's become, rather flat and easy to traverse. You can have conversations with people all around the world, and social media has instant gratification that our society is wired to want and need. So I think it's just about being rational in what you're posting. Be careful in terms of what you're posting. Before pushing send, read it again. And just remember that by making a statement, and there is a link to your organization, even by association, even if it is your own personal platform, just be cautious. Would you make that statement in the ordinary course of events? We've seen some high-profile figures around the world doing Twitter rants at 3 a.m. and then their team has to scurry to try and resolve the issues. Don't find yourself in a situation. We didn't mention names. And then again, from an employer perspective, make certain that your rules are quite clear.
Okay.
Your guidelines in terms of social media use in the workplace as well, acceptable and unacceptable behavior, and also education around it. Because a lot of people aren't necessarily aware that their behavior on social media really could have an impact in terms of their employment space. So I think just educating your staff, putting policies in place, training guys, making certain everyone's aware of the rules around this, and also then providing guidelines in terms of how to act. That's, I think, is important.
Yeah. Just a quick one. Is it important for employers to put a clause that will cover that on the employment contract?
Yes, 100%. Usually there is also policies regarding this as well.
Okay.
Besides just a clause, there often are policies on terms of social media utilization, use of IT facilities, computers, etc. at work. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Grant, for sharing.
Thanks so much for your time, guys. Really appreciate it.
All right, and all the best.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Cheers. All right, for employers, you heard him. He's the expert. He says you should make sure that you provide some sort of education for your employees around that particular that, and also it's important also for you to include a clause, within the employment contract, on top of the fact that you must have a policy in place, that will actually, expand more on that, so that the employees will be aware. And also for employees, you need to make sure that you understand that. You find out if your employer did not provide that, you need to ask them, so that you don't begin to look for who to bail you out, but you get into trouble. Any comments, Ibo?
I think at the end of the day, people need to understand social media might be your private profile or your private social platform.
Yeah,
we are living in a world where the private is merging with the professional side, so we need to be careful with what we do.
All right, quite an exciting one. I think talking around social media, media and employees and workplace. I think there's so many things that we need to talk about, and I think from we were started, and I believe we'll eventually be able to get into other conversations that you might want us to talk about, but we're not there yet. But you just hang in there. I think we're gonna get there someday.
Tune in to Africa Business Radio on www.africabusinessradio.com. Find us on Facebook, Africa Business Radio, and on Twitter at Africa Biz Radio. Towards a profitable Africa.